I'm super excited about the recipe I'm going to be sharing with you. This is a recipe that was that I first checked out on the Well and Good website. But in any event, these overnight bagels were apparently a thing, and I like the idea of that. And frankly, a lot of yeast breads, you can do that. You can make it the night before and then have them ready to go for their next steps the next day. I've never made bagels before, so this is my first time. I made the bagels last night, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. And I will be making a short showing that process, just like I did with the pretzels, the Philly soft pretzels I made in February. So we're doing a similar thing. But she got the recipe from a TikToker at Kate Davidson, and she had shown how to make the overnight bagels. So last night I mixed together 3.5 cups bread flour. Now I would tell you that I think with a lot of these recipes there's some flexibility with using all-purpose flour, but if you can get the bread flour, there's more protein in it. And it can have I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but kind of like a stronger gluten, like it can develop gluten a little bit more easily. And I know we used the bread flour in the pretzels, which was not required. I'm really glad I did. I felt like they turned out excellent. So it did suggest bread flour. I already had it. I think mine, the one I used was a King Arthur, but whatever brand that you might have in your store. 3.5 cups. And then I wanted to get my yeast proofing. So in some warm water, 1.25 cups water, and again, all this is in the link. I added salt, a tablespoon of salt, a tablespoon of sugar, and 2 teaspoons. I take that back. I added a tablespoon of sugar and 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast. To my bread flour, I added a tablespoon of salt and give it a quick mix. So then, when everything got bubbly and nice and yeasty and yummy, I poured it. I used my KitchenAid mixer, my stand mixer, and I put the bread hook in. And so I happen to have that, and I think that comes with a lot of the basic models of the KitchenAid if you have that brand. And I got that going, started pouring in the warm water with the yeast and sugar, and then let that mix up until it kind of came together. It took a little bit, as you'll see in the short that I will release sometime this weekend. And then it came together, and I let it go for quite a while because on the website, and also the TikToker mentions kneading the dough from 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah, I think it was either 10 to 15 or 15 to 20 minutes, which is quite a long time in kneading. And I will tell you, I've kneaded some breads together and some doughs together, and that is kind of a long time. So one of the things that I've learned from my KitchenAid is a lot of times it can do some of the work for you, as well as food processors and other of our kitchen gadgets. So I let that kind of flip-flop for a little while, about 5 minutes, getting some pounding and mixing and kneading, because that's what that bread hook is for. And then I kneaded it for about 5 minutes by hand. And again, all this will be on the short that I'll release. It'll be called Overnight Bagels Part 1. And this will be Overnight Bagels Part 2. I know right now just how to make overnight bagels, but I will end up putting the part 2 on there. So that's kind of what I did. Then I oiled a bowl with a tablespoon of a neutral oil, and then I put in the dough and I flipped it around, and I covered it with a towel, and I put it in my microwave. So my microwaves are a great place to proof dough if you're not using them, because there's no air drafts. It just generally is a very stable environment. So, and I showed my Twitter friends kind of how it looked last night. This morning, I showed them how it looked last night and how it looked this morning. It has definitely doubled. It looks delicious and ready to go. And so that's where we are now. And let me see who joined us. DS. Oh my goodness, I'm excited. Oh yes, being a New Yorker, oh my goodness, I have a lot to live up to for this. But yes, I'm very excited you're joined. And I gotta tell you, DS, and also Greg, happy Saturday. Thank you both for joining. And DS also said, thank God for the best sous chef KitchenAid. I know, right? Right, it is the best. And so I will share with both of you and anyone else that's watching that in doing some research about the bagels, there was a couple things that I did decide upon. So with the TikToker, she talks about just adding some honey for a little sweetness to the water that will be boiling the bagels in. Wasn't opposed to it, but I remembered with my pretzels that I added 2 tablespoons of baking soda to the water, and I had read with those that really helps the browning and everything. So I was a little bit curious that she hadn't suggested that. So I did a little research, specifically DS about New York bagels because those are my favorite bagels. And they did talk about the baking soda. So I will not be adding honey. Again, you could do both, but I just really liked how the pretzels turned out. So I'm gonna be adding 2 tablespoons of baking soda when it's time to boil them for a little bit of time. And I took this deep dive into New York bagels. And one of the things I talk about is one of the things that makes New York bagels so special is New Yorkers drink different water. We all drink different water in all the different cities and places we live. And the New York water is soft. And so one of the things they think that impacts the bagels is the soft water. Now here in Philly, we have hard water. So I do not expect these to turn out like New York bagels, but I just thought that was really interesting. And they do recommend adding baking soda to the water. And I also find out that a lot of places in New York are now steaming them. Not everyone, but you know, the original way is you boil the dough before you put it in the oven, but some are steaming them to get apparently the same process. And a lot of places claim that is the better way too. So, so yes. Oh, yes, Greg, Florida water is hard as well. So I do know that is what one of the things they talk about is that has affected whatever recipes that the New York bagel shops do because they're doing it based upon what their conditions are. So there might be some tweaking, and I would have to do some more research into how I could tweak things to make my results turn out a little bit more like New York bagels. But in any event, I'm really excited about the bagels. So let me show you the dough. So I had it in my microwave. And it's a super sunny day here in Philly. It's sunny in New York City also. And Greg, how is it in Florida? LaShandra, oh, happy Saturday. Thank you so much for coming on stream. I've got Greg and DS here. And thank you, by the way, for retweeting this morning or yesterday, the stream and any of the stuff that you support of mine. Maybe, I think it was retweeting the smoked salmon that was kind of getting me ready. And to be honest, LaShandra, what I did was I had the smoked salmon for the spread I'm making later, and I couldn't resist. So I'm like, I'm going to use that with my Philly muffins and take a little taste. It was delicious, by the way. So, all right, so here is the big reveal. So let me take the towel away. And you can see this is doubled. So there was just, I don't know, it was about this size that had gone in last night, and now it has doubled in size. So what my next steps are, I'm gonna be dividing this into 8 parts. So what our plan is I'm gonna be making the bagels, getting them cooked, and while they're cooking, I'm gonna be making the spreads. And that way they'll have a little bit of time to cool so we won't be burning our mouths, and get the spreads ready to taste them with. So I'm just going to turn this out. I'm going to get a little bit of flour just in case I need it. I don't expect to need much flour, but you know what? If I don't get it, I'm going to need it. So I should have gotten that off ahead of time. Let's grab it. Okay. Let me just grab a little just in case. Whoopsie. Just in case. So the neutral oil I used was, what did I use? I used grapeseed oil. That's what I did. Okay, so I'm going to divide this into 8 parts for 8 bagels. Make sure that's out of the way. And then she talks about how to get them into the bagel shape, which I'm really excited about. So I'm just trying to make these generally equal. There we go. Okay. And what she talks about doing, make sure we can all see everything. She talks about kind of pinching everything together like this. I'm pinching it onto the bottom, okay? And I'm pinching it. And she said that is like a method. So I'm just pinching this together. This is my first time, so let's see if this works. And then you kind of like get it all rolled. Like this was from the TikToker. This is because that's where you could really see the method. I'm just rolling it all. I pinched it, I'm rolling it. And now I'm looking for that pinch point, and that's where I'm going to be making a hole with my thumb and splitting it. And then making this bagel shape, right? So there we go. It's seemed pretty easy. The dough, I will say, from someone that has worked with some different dough, pretty easy to work with. I'm not quite sure how big to make the hole, but we're gonna try it. So again, we're just bringing in together the sides, kind of pinching them together like you would like a dumpling, giving them a nice good pinch. Then I'm getting this all round up. So it's a nice circle, working out pretty well. Right now, I'm just so excited. Can I just tell you, the camera's working back there for when we boil them. Right now, there's no glitching, so I'm a happy girl. Now I'm gonna look for that spot. I'm gonna get my thumb through there and just open it up.
Good. Some other folks on.
All right, Drew Tube. Oh, I'm so glad to have you on, Drew. And thanks for all your help. Drew and I have been chatting a lot about, Drew is as a fellow YouTuber. He's got a great channel you should check out. He is well, you do a lot of great things, Drew. And I love the unusual ingredients and concoctions you make. And you are a great gadget guy. So if you're ever looking for some interesting gadgets and how you can use them in the kitchen, he's your guy. But
a couple above that, Matthew.
Oh, and Matthew Whittington. Oh, it's so good to see you again. Good morning. McDonald's used to do bagel sandwiches, but disappointed they're not serving them anymore. I know, although I've got to tell you, I'm a big Egg McMuffin girl.
Amen to that, though.
And Andy tells you amen as well. And then Christine. Oh, Christine, welcome. Welcome to the stream. I'm just pinching my dough balls together, and then I'm going to do a little rolling over here. And Christine says, rising, best way I found to heat up a cup of water in microwave, 2 minutes for the quick, DS Hub says hi. For the quickly sticking dough in there, and then close it. Keeps a warm, moisturized environment during cold. Yes, that is a great tip, Christine. And DS says hi back. Greg, what was I going to say? Hubs is still recovering from the bourbon tasting. Joking, but
It's not true.
I know. And then Greg made this awesome steak this week and had some bourbon with it. That looked absolutely delicious. So then I'm making my little bagel. So I don't know, have any of you made bagels? First of all, I want to know, especially DS, Mr. New York guy. Have you made bagels? So got to know that. And Greg says hi, Andy.
Hello.
And he's lifting a bourbon shot to you. So I'm pinching this together. But I gotta tell you, like this, the hardest part was really a lot of kneading that I did yesterday. But even that, it wasn't so hard because I let the KitchenAid do some of the work. So far, like, I'm kind of wondering why I haven't done this sooner, if I'm being honest. I'm finding the dough really easy to work with. I like the idea, again, of the fact that it rose overnight so that we could sleep while it was doing its job. And Christine, it's funny, I use my microwave as a secondary tool in so many ways. So for rising, I also use it, I don't know, and this was such a, like, how old am I, did I have to be to figure this out or hear this? That's a great place to keep things warm because it's so insulated. And so I loved that. I thought that was, so a lot of times if I'm cooking something and we're not quite ready to eat, other things are getting fixed, I throw it in there and it really helps keep things warm. So I find that I use my microwave for a lot of other things besides just the microwave. And Greg says, DS says that, what it says, I'm going to tell LaShondra. So LaShondra made them ages ago in culinary school. Oh, LaShondra. Now I feel very not worthy because I've had no culinary school, but that actually explains a lot when I look at your beautiful posts. And DS said, I make them all the time, just made some 2 days ago. So DS, was your recipe similar to the amounts or anything different than what I was talking about? And do you use your KitchenAid? And DS asked, and Greg said he's not made bagels. DS asked, what's your favorite topping? It's funny, I have my toppings ready. We're gonna keep some plain and we're gonna top others. Matt already put his requests in, my son Matt, he's gonna stop by later. I don't think he'll be on stream, but I'll stop by later to pick up his bagels. And he requested everything seasoning, which is his favorite. I'm just gonna scooch these over a little bit. And then Andy wants a plain and a sesame seed. I like poppy seed. and sesame seed and plain. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 everything, 2 sesame, 1 poppy seed, and I think 3 plain. I think that's what the plan's going to be. And then Drew said, were you able to see if the thumbnails work? So yeah, so Drew and I were talking a lot about shorts and thumbnails because he is able, not that this is going to be boring YouTube talk for everybody else, but basically he has an Android and he can choose the thumbnails for his shorts, because my comment was, I put a post on my community tab that I'm really frustrated with YouTube because I feel like every time I make a short, they literally pick like the worst image to promote my shorts. So I'm always a little disappointed. And Drew mentioned that on his Android that he's able to choose now. So then I was listening to, for anyone that's a YouTuber, it's a great person that gives you advice on being on YouTube. His name's Nick Nimmin, and I listen to his updates. I don't do it every week, but I try to listen when I remember. And he was saying that the iPhones are going to be getting that capability. But Drew, I actually tried it the other day, and I don't have it yet because they're rolling it out, which means we'll get it at some point. So I was kind of a little disappointed about that, but it will come. At some point, I'll have some choice in the matter, which I'm really excited about. And let me see here. And DS says, close to the recipe you're using. So what's different, DS, about the recipe that I'm using? And Chandra says, no, please don't. I've only a degree. It's over 20 years later, and I'm finally attempting to use it. Well, I give all the props to you because I'm an educator. That's what I went to school for, but I do love to cook, and I've loved the idea of going to a culinary school, but there's just too many things I would really like to do. All right, and then Christine said, Solomon says salt bagels. Wonderful, that sounds delicious. DS says, I add baking soda to the water when I want pretzel bagels. Oh, so you don't add it to the water for your regular bagels, DS. Let me know about that, and let me know what you suggest for this. And Drew said, never made bagels. Kneading is not my thing. Well, that's why you need some devices, right? Because that KitchenAid can do a lot of the kneading for you. And Solomon, welcome. Salt bagels, yes, those would be delicious. Welcome, Solomon. Thank you for coming to the stream.
Salt bagels are good.
Those are good. Hubs gives a thumbs up on that too. And Christine says, I have long rise time is key to getting the proper chew consistency as opposed to a round bread ball. That's right. So what do you recommend as far as, I know some bagel recipes, it could be days, like it could be 2 or 3 days that they're left to kind of, and not just rise, but also develop the flavor. So Christine, I'd love your ideas on that. And then DS asks, what's your favorite filling? Oh, I'll tell you that in a second. You like lox, and Chandra likes lox too. And DS said, I don't add baking soda to the regular recipe. However, I'm excited to see your bagels. Okay. So I will try it out. Or, you know what? I'm going to do a little experiment. I'll make 4 of them without the baking soda, and then I'll add the baking soda and do the other 4, because I can only do 4 at a time anyway. We'll check it out. We'll see the difference right here on Philly's live stream. Should you add baking soda or not? So how exciting is that? So for fillings, I'm a big veggie spread. I love the veggie spread. And that's one of the ones I'm making today. And then I also love the smoked salmon spread, so I'm making that one today too. So that whole lox thing, yes, yum, 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 yum. So those are the 2 spreads. And it's funny, I'm not, because in my age, I'm just not, trust me, I love a good sweet thing, but I'm just not as into the sweet bagels. I don't mind opposed to them. It's not that I don't like them, I just always tend to go towards the savory. So I'm gonna make sure that my bagels are made. There we go. Beautiful bagels that were quite easy, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna cover them with a towel while I'm getting my water up back to a boil. It was on a boil, because you know I like to do that little hack of getting that boiling going. But let's get it back up there. I'm gonna cover it back up. I'm gonna get the camera on so you all can see. Let me get some things ready. Let me get the camera on. There you go. And let's see here. When I cook the bagels, just like I did with my pretzels, I'm going to put, after I boil them, oh, by the way, my oven's all ready. I'm gonna boil them and put them on this towel. just to make for, just to get a little of the extra water off and make for easy transferring. Oh, and before I'm waiting for the water, I'm gonna get my toppings ready. So the 3 different toppings I'm gonna be using are the everything seasoning, which we don't have a ton left, so I think that's probably gonna be going down. And I know you can sprinkle them on, but I'm actually going to just dip them. I think that'll be a little easier, so you can do you. Yes?
I think I bought 2 of those last time.
I couldn't find the other one. I'll have to look more for it. And let's see. And Dia said, good idea. Oh, thanks, Greg. In New York, it's considered a sin to ask for your bagel to be toasted. So yeah, so I'm going to talk about my college experience in just a second. To toast or not to toast is the question. So for me, if I'm in New York, I never ask for my bagel to be toasted unless it's with a sandwich, like an egg sandwich. Then I like it to be toasted. But if I'm just putting spreads on it, I want that fresh New York bagel. I want the chewiness, the doughiness. That's what I want. The only time I'll toast it after that, definitely, is when they're old, because then it kind of rejuvenates. So I'm also going to be getting, so it's funny, I have some sesame seeds, but the ones I have are toasted, and so I actually want mine to be white. So I have these little, oh, that one's perfect. The sample one's left over, so I'm going to use those. Okay. And then, what else? Oh, poppy seeds. Got my poppy seeds. So I went to school in Ohio, Miami University, and they have this, they're a little clumpy. And this is brand new. I don't know if some moisture got in there. That's interesting. I went to Miami, and we have a famous place for the students called the Bagel and Deli, and they made great bagels, and the sandwiches were always steamed. So that's like how when I was 18 to 22, I had all my bagel sandwiches steamed. So one of the things I want to do and make a short is kind of my little hack on how you recreate it at home, because we don't have a steamer, obviously. I mean, like they did. I mean, there was this big thing. They'd put the sandwiches in there. You'd give them your order. They'd bring this thing down. They go, and this like steam would come in and warm everything up, make everything yummy and gooey and warm. It was phenomenal. They had great bagels. They had great toppings, great meats and cheeses. My favorite was getting the smoked cheddar. I would just get a plain bagel with the smoked cheddar. First of all, it was cheap too, and I had no money. So I'd get plain bagel, smoked cheddar on it, steamed, and it was phenomenal. So my toppings are ready, and I hear it's boiling. So LaShondra says, well, I didn't know that. Same with Greg. And Matthew eats the sausage McMuffin at McDonald's. That's my mom's favorite. She's always said that was her favorite, the sausage McMuffin. And then Solomon says, I broil, then cool. And then LaShondra says, I prefer mine untoasted. And then, oh, that sounds like your veggie spread, Solomon. Delicious. Very delicious. And I love the tomato with some salt on top. So let's get boiling. Whoop, move that out of the way. So here are our lovely bagels. We're going to get 4. And Hubs, you're going to be ready for the 30-second timer, because 30 seconds aside, that's what we're going to be doing.
Let me know when.
Okey-dokey. I got my, whatever that's called. I always forget what that's called. Got that already.
Tell me when.
I will, not yet. So these 4 are going to be without the baking soda, okay? Okay, begin timing.
Right now?
Yep.
30 seconds, right?
Yep, 30 seconds. So exciting.
It doesn't seem like very long.
And you can see it's 30 seconds aside. The pretzels were a minute, so it kind of makes sense. But these, they do say to make sure and flip.
Okay, get ready. I'll tell you when.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see, one of mine is rising. My other one hasn't risen. I think I got
30
stuck.
seconds.
30 seconds now?
Yep.
Okay, so now I'm going to flip them. Easier said than done. Oh, that one flipped by itself. That's good.
Tell me when to go again.
Not yet. All right, go. Here we go. All right. So toppings are ready. So after these come back, I'm going to, while they're still moist, get them topped.
Did you tell everybody about the hole in the thing?
Oh, we don't have time to talk about that right now. We'll have to wait. Because I want to make sure I focus. Because you know what happens when I don't focus? Mistakes. Mistakes happen all over the place. So, and by the way, don't let me forget, no one let me forget to put baking soda in before I cook those other ones. 30? Okay. All right, get these out. I'm actually liking the size. I love the idea of a big old bagel, but that doesn't like me because of the whole, you know, waistline. So I'm just gonna get this one all covered. There we go. Oh, gotta rinse off my hands. That's gonna be a very poppy one. And then we'll do, not yet, not yet. And there's that one. And then we're gonna do another sesame seed. So you can see I'm just dipping one side in the topping. Another sesame seed. Let me rinse my hands on that. And then everything bagel. So Maddie will get one everything bagel that doesn't have the baking soda one with. So we'll see what he thinks. All right, not yet. Almost done. I'm going to go drop them in soon. So I'll let you know when to start. Okay, Hubs? All right. So let me. Oh, baking soda. I almost forgot. Okay. 2 tablespoons, what I did with the pretzels. So we're going to give this a try. Now, it should bubble up. It should be like a little science experiment. Woo! Hey, it's always exciting in the kitchen in Philly, right? There we go. A little excitement for the day.
Tell me when.
Not yet, because I wait till they all get in. Let's get these guys in their little bath. And Hubs, you can begin now. 30 seconds. We are like a fine oiled machine, Hubs.
Yep.
So I've got, let me think. So I'm going to do one more everything, and then these are done. Because the rest will be plain. Because you wanted one plain and one sesame, right, babe?
Correct.
Okay. Put these on the middle. Wonderful. All right, what did I miss in the chat?
30 seconds.
Okay. Oh, it's time?
Yeah.
Oh, that went quick. All right, flipping them. This one's got to come to top. So 2 of mine on each batch stuck to the bottom. So just be careful of that. Okay, they're flipped. Go. Let's see. The longer they boil, the more chewy they become. Yes, I had read that. So how long do you let yours boil, DS? And Matthew says, I like the cheddar cheese sauce, sauteed onion, cheeseburger, bacon lettuce on my bagel. Well, that is quite the bagel. That's a burger bagel there, Matthew. It sounds outstanding. And Shelby DS says hi. Yes, she's still kicking. We had the elevator down 3 times this week. So that means Hubs
30.
had to, 30? Oh, wait, okay. All right, let's see if this is different. Anyways, we had the elevator down, so that meant that Hubs had to carry the girl up and down the flights of stairs to get her to go outside because her back legs aren't working well. That was not fun, was it, Hubs?
It was a good exercise.
That's not what you said. And there was some very colorful language going on, but it is fixed now. So.
Anyway, there's a hole underneath our
And these are plain.
stove because
Ooh, they're hot.
we're waiting for the drawer.
This is what's good to have asbestos hands for, by the way. Yes, so Hubs is describing why we have a hole here. For any of you that do not know the whole story, ha ha ha, that is the whole story. So one day, we'll have tech issues, not a problem, and we'll have the hole fixed. So that'll be exciting. We'll put this aside. I'm going to turn this off. We are done there. I'm going to close that so it doesn't create the heat bomb that is in my kitchen right now. We can turn this off. Let me see here. Camera. There we go. And one more thing I wanted to do. Oh, I want to turn this off because this thing is hot. Ugh. 1 second, friends. all set. So here are our bagels ready to go in. So DS, so maybe Archie, I missed your entrance. Archie, I couldn't give you a big warm entrance. Sorry about that. Look at my bagels. They're ready to go in the oven. So if they're not chewy enough, DS, then I will leave them in longer, because I did read that too, that the longer, the chewier. So these are gonna go into a 425-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes. Mine is convection. I'm gonna use my convection because I know it'll aid the browning. And so I've set it for 400, and I'm gonna do it for 10 to 15 minutes. I thought I might need to use 2 pans, but everything fit well. Let's get my timer. I'm gonna check him at 10 minutes just so I see, but I like a nice brown bagel. So Archie, welcome, welcome. We have got a rockin' stream today. Oh, so it's interesting you asked that, Solomon. I trust me, I wondered myself because Solomon asked no egg wash for gloss, because I did do that with my pretzels, but it didn't mention it. So DS, do you do an egg wash at the end? What I try to do oftentimes is when I get a recipe, for the most part, I try to follow it just to kind of see how theirs works. But I did have pause about that, Solomon. I'm with you. So I'd love to know what DS thinks about the egg wash versus the not egg wash. I know no pretzels, but bagels. And we have poppy seed, sesame seed, and everything that our son Maddie wants, and then regular. And they are holy. Only the holiest here. Amy likes them toasted with prosciutto and cheese. Oh, Amy's fancy. Tell her I think she's fancy. That sounds delicious. What kind of cheese? Just the cream cheese or something else? All right, so I'm gonna get started on, while you all chat amongst yourselves, I'm gonna get started on these veggie spreads, because we wanna put them on. So I have everything ready. Shocking, because often I'm not very ready. Let me get a little swig of water. Also, I'm gonna cover up my flour, so I don't need that anymore. Okay, so I have here some scallions or green onions. I have some fresh dill. We've been trying to go on a health kick, Hubs and I, so I already have some celery and carrots chopped up that we use for snacks. So I'm just gonna chop them up further for the veggie one. I've got some red pepper I'm using for the veggie one. I need some lemon juice. I've got red onion, garlic, and horseradish. Now these are for 2 different recipes. I'm gonna get my smoked salmon. So for my smoked salmon, I went with my girl Ina. I love Ina. I wanted to go with her because she is just such a queen. So I totally trust her. She had a smoked salmon spread that I want to use. For hers, I cut it in half because I just know between Hubs and I, we're not gonna be able to go through all this as quick, or we could go through with it, but then we're gonna go this way if we eat it all. And here is my softened cream cheese. So I'm using 1 bar for 2 different spreads. And the other recipe, which by the way, I put the link below for both of these, is a recipe from the Pioneer Woman, who I get the biggest kick out of watching her shows. When she first came out on the scene, I would watch her shows as much just for seeing what her life was like, than as much for the recipes. So I got the biggest kick. In fact, I think the first Pioneer Woman show we saw, they were shooting skeets, and she had this huge grill outside like that. I've never seen a grill like it, but they were making these amazing steaks. And ever since then, I haven't been watching as much lately just because I've been busy. But at the beginning, oh my gosh, I watched her a lot. So I'm just gonna cut this straight in half so that I can put half in each bowl. Now her recipe is huge. It's actually 3 8-ounce things of cream cheese. We would never go through that. So I'm making literally a 1/6 of her recipe, which makes it difficult for measurements. But you know what? Especially with the veggie one, it's really as much as you want. Put the veggies you want and put as much of them that you want. Okay, I'm just cutting this in half. There we go. And I'm putting half in one, half in the other. Oop. All right. So the first one I'm actually going to make is Ina's. Oh, and by the way, I'm not gonna lie, I'm using, and I can't say the name of the cheese, the Newfoundland, whatever it's called. I use the lesser fat with my spreads. I don't notice a difference. I like to save on calories. So I'm just gonna be real. I'm not using the full fat cream cheese for this. For me, I use the full fat cream cheese when I'm using it in baking, because I feel like that would be important because baking is pretty precise. But for like a spread, I always go for the, I think it's a third less fat. I never do fat-free. I don't do fat-free anything unless it's naturally fat-free, because I feel like that's where in the 80s we got into some real trouble. We were eating things that were fat-free that weren't supposed to be, and it tasted awful, so we lost all of our taste. Okay, so I've got my cream cheese. I'm gonna set this one aside right here for when I do the veggie. And this one's gonna get our salmon. So she recommends getting a Norwegian style smoked salmon. So mine is Norwegian oak smoked. And I just need, I think, 2 ounces of it. This is 4 ounces. So I'm going to just take half of this. I've already cut it in half, so I made it easy. Beautiful, gorgeous, yum. Oh, it smells so good. I love that smoky smell. Just my favorite. Just delicious. I wanted to do this one first so it had a little bit more time before we tasted it to have the flavors develop, because I feel like both of these do better having flavors develop, but the smokiness I really wanted to get in. Put that back in the fridge. All right, let me see what you're all chatting about. Ooh, sesame salt pretzels. That sounds delicious. Chef Archie says, we buy them in the store, very popular, but nothing like the ones you guys have. Okay. And LaShondra says, love Ina and Pioneer Woman. And Dia says, you remind me of the Pioneer Woman. Yes, although I wouldn't be so good on a ranch. Although I give her credit because she was not a ranch girl. But she just found a way to support her family by like, I'll just cook all for you, which is kind of what I do when we were in the suburbs. I would get out of shoveling the snow because I would say, let me make you something yummy. So I'd make homemade scones or Dutch babies or whatever. Like Yab said, bribe them. And then they come in from shoveling the snow or raking the leaves. And I'd be like, look what I have for you. And they would be excited. And I'd be like, I got out of it. I got out of it. So very exciting. And then Solomon says, I watched Townsend's for 1800s cooking techniques. Interesting, Solomon. And LaShondra agrees about the fat-free foods. I mean, obviously when it's naturally, and LaShondra, that's one thing, that's why I'm mentioning this here. I just do adjustments. So in my regular cooking, unless it's something splurgy, I do make adjustments. I make adjustments all the time on oil and butter. Again, unless it's needed for the recipe. Then, I splurge. But for our day-to-day cooking, we just try to be healthier. So for Ina's wonderful recipe, it's going to be cream cheese, sour cream, lemon juice, fresh dill, horseradish, easy for me to say, horseradish, salt, pepper, and smoked salmon. So I've got my smoked salmon. I'll be chopping that in a minute. I want to get my sour cream. I'm having her recipe. So I just need the 4 ounces of cream cheese. I need a 1/4 cup of sour cream. So let me grab that. I might have about a 1/4 cup here. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to eyeball that because it's not a baking recipe. So I'm going to eyeball a 1/4 cup. Let me see. It's about a 1/4 cup. And a 1/2 tablespoon of lemon juice. Let me get this back in the fridge. I already had some of that lemon juice. I already put it here. From that cocktail. So I'm just shaking it up because I squeezed all those lemons. So I'm going to get, got my spoonfuls. And actually I have a 1/2 tablespoon. I'm going to use that because I don't want it to be too sour. Okay. Looks like we have about 1:20 on the first part of the cook. And actually, you know what? I'm going to mix these first because otherwise that lemon juice is just going to slosh around there. You all have been there before. Now, I could use a blender. I'm doing this by hand. And I'm going to do the veggie one by hand. On Pioneer Woman, she does it in a blender, but it's like 3, three 8-ounce things of cream cheese, so I don't blame her for using the blender, but this one I'm just doing by hand. Everything's soft. So I'm going to put a half a tablespoon of lemon juice. Nice. It'll keep it nice and bright. And then I'm going to put in a half a teaspoon of horseradish. So I've got my prepared horseradish. I'm going to put a half teaspoon. It's a great ingredient to have around for a lot of different things. Okay, I'm going to keep this because I might need it for something else. And I'm putting in some salt and pepper. I'm just going to eyeball that. The smoked salmon is already salty, so I'm not going to be adding a lot of salt. My favorite pepper mill. I'm going to just do a healthy pinch because there's already quite a bit of salt with that. And I try to watch my salt also. Let's take a peek. We'll pause there, take a peek and see how the bagels look. Well, I can tell right now they're not brown enough. So I'm not even going to open it because that'll just ruin the good little warmth that's going on there. So I'm going to add 5 more minutes. I do like a nicely brown bagel, so I'm not worried about that. I'm going to add 5 more minutes. So let me see where I'm at. I need my fresh dill. So here's my fresh dill. I don't need too much. I love fresh dill. It smells so good. Oh, it's gorgeous. Let me just give a quick rinse and dry. There we go. Over there. Get my knife. Where did my knives go? Well, that's interesting. I thought I got them out. Oh, I got, so you know what I got out? I got my knife covers out. Well, that was silly. Okay, so I'm gonna do just a chop on this. I think this is actually gonna be too much for the little bit we have, but I'm just running my knife through it. Okay, and let me get this smoked salmon chopped up. So excited. Okay. I'm not worried about getting this too chopped up because I like having a nice chunk throughout, so I think that's fine. Again, this is our recipes, right? So we can kind of do it how we like it. And let me just add those ingredients. So I've got my smoked salmon. Let me mix up my lemon juice first a little bit. My horseradish, I have my salt, my pepper, I have my sour cream. I think I'm all good then. I think we get these in. I should have kept my knife here because that will help. And oh, that looks so good. Oh, hun, this is going to be absolutely delicious. Do you agree? The smoked salmon spread.
Oh, yeah.
And then let's see, she recommended, actually, I think we'll use all my dough. Perfect, measured perfectly. One of those days, apparently. All right, and we're gonna look at this beauty stuff. We're gonna give it a mix and a little taste to make sure the seasonings seem right. And I'm gonna put it in the fridge until we're ready to use. Now, of course, if you're serving it for company, you could put it in a pretty little bowl and it'll be perfect. Okay, let me get a little taste to see. What I love is the horseradish kind of is in the background, and that lemon helps cut the richness of the salmon. Oh, it's delicious. In fact, because I'm a kind wife, I'm gonna give Hubs a little taste of it too. I'm in that kind of mood, babe. Cool. Sharing is caring. What do you think?
Wow, very tasty.
Very tasty, but it'll be even more tasty when it can sit and like stay together and enjoy each other. So put that away. Let's see here. Make some room. We got a little crowded here. There we go. Oh. So just funny. St. Patty's Day was yesterday, and I got a hankering for some Irish potatoes, and so did a quick mix with some of the third fat cream cheese. And yet last year had a stream, which I'm telling you, it's if you ever want Irish potato, it's the best recipe because it's not as sweet. I mean, it's still sweet, don't get me wrong. But so I've got to roll the rest of them, and I'll give those to some of those to Maddie too, because I think he did like those. But Hubs and I like it. It's just like gives you a nice little sweet treat. All right, I digress. So now I'm gonna wash my knife, and actually I'm gonna wash this off, some of the salmon off. And we'll get ready for our veggie dip. So you see that came together super quick. You know, I mean, I think about how much these spreads cost when we buy them at the store. Well, and the spreads are not that great at the store. No offense, Philadelphia cream cheese, but your smoked salmon is not as good as my smoked salmon. So I'm actually gonna flip this over too. I'm gonna wash my knife. But I'm anxious for the veggie spread too, because I do like the veggie spread that Philadelphia cream cheese makes, and that the different local areas make, the different bagel shops. So I'm anxious to try this one. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Let's check it out. Let me get my... So I don't think they look brown enough still. I'm gonna keep them in for 2 more minutes. Making a executive decision. Okay, so I did them for 15, and now this will be 17. So at a 400-degree convection oven, I'm going past the 15 mark now. So again, her recipe stated 15 to 20. Convection is usually less, so I'm kind of almost meeting up with the time. Well, I have met up with the time now. So, but I desire that browning, and I'm worried that'll, not worried, but I think the browner will also create that better crust on the outside too. They just were a bit light for my liking.
Tell Archie, unfortunately.
Oh, so to answer your question, Arch, Hubs is unfortunately very sober. He had his workout for the day, which makes him feel less guilty about eating these bagels. And oh, DS, you're so sweet. DS says, please don't forget to like the stream. Hulk smash that thumbs up. Oh, you're the best. Thank you, DS. And Archie said, I'm making cheese sauce. Ooh, I can't wait to see that video. That sounds delicious. And Archie says also, cooking oven temperatures differ greatly. Absolutely, they absolutely do. And in fact, I always have I have one of those, oven thermometers that I keep in there just to check as well, because I always like to know. So for our veggie dip, we have got our cream cheese already, and now we're gonna be cutting up a bunch of veggies. Now this was, I said, really interesting because her recipe was so big that I had to really crush it down. So basically I'm gonna do it by sight. I want some green onion. In fact, let me do that first. Got some green onion. I love green onion. So get that quickly rinsed and chopped up. I just love the flavor that green onion gives. It's quite nice. And then I'm going to be adding to it some carrots, celery, red pepper, red onion before I get my herbs. Boy, that was quick. Wasn't that quick? It seemed like I just put them back in.
It seemed like 2 minutes.
I know. It seemed like 2 minutes ago. Good job, Hubs. That was a funny one. All right. Okay. You know what? I don't want to overcook them. I don't know if that's possible. They look pretty damn good. I think these look lovely, and now they need to cool. So let me show you. Look at those. Look at those gorgeous beauties. Those gorgeous bagel beauties. And now I'm going to go let them cool. Right here, behind me. Oh, whoops. I'm going to take them off my little knobs, because when they get very unhappy when you summon the knobs. It makes the little clicker go click. So I'm going to get this chopped. Get this out of the way. So I'm just going to get these things chopped up. So I've got my green onion. I'm going to do celery. Forgot to turn my timer off. That's like my most favorite sound. You know, I have dreams or nightmares where that timer goes off. And then when we watch videos, I actually get anxious when in the video it goes off because I'm like, our timer's on. Okay, and I'm gonna get these chopped really small. I mean, you can do this to your liking. I'm not really concerned about how small the bits are, especially with my green onion. I probably want my celery and my carrot to be a little bit smaller, you know, just to make sure those are nice and small. So green onion, check. I'm gonna save my red onion for last because if it is a strong one, you know that'll make me cry. So that one looks nice. I like celery in my dips. I love, you know, celery I feel like is a real, people don't give it enough credit. Like I think it is an unsung hero in a classic chicken salad. It gives flavor to stuffing, soups, and people just do not give it its due respect. So I love me some celery in my veggie dip. So I'm just giving us a really small dice. Just try to go as small as you can, as small as you're comfortable without chopping a digit off. We don't want that to happen. So I got my celery, and then I'm going to put that right there and get my carrot. Carrot's a little harder, so you have to be a little careful, more careful. So Hubs, I was noticing we're not really making a dent on these carrots that your lovely wife got you all sliced up.
I had a bunch of carrots today already.
Oh, okay. Do you have any celery?
I'm not a huge celery guy.
See, he's not giving any respect to the celery. I bet you'd like the celery dipped in this veggie dip. What do you think, friends? Would he like his celery better dipped? Of course, then it kind of takes away the whole object of trying to eat something that's low calorie, but I do love crudité dipped, whether it's like a specific veggie dip or like one of these spreads. Yum. Get this all chopped up. I wish I had the pinch DS and Lashandra and Archie and Solomon and any of you else that have been classically trained. I really just chop my way, but the little grip, you know, that you do, I've tried it and then it slows me up, so then I just get frustrated and I kind of do it my way. It's kind of like how I type. So I never learned how to formally type. Oh, technically I did. I think I took a half semester course in high school and I didn't technically fail it, but I failed it insofar as it never stuck. So I just found my own way for typing. And of course with computers, you need that. And so I kind of march to my own drummer sometimes. So I've got my green onion, carrot, celery. Now I need to get some red pepper. Let me get this a little quick wash. Let's see what you're all talking about. Dip your bagels, not croissants. I must have missed that conversation, Arch. And we dip bagels in Manchewich. And I'm a huge celery fan in so many things. I love the leafy inside bit, and I love celery leaves. Like those are great things to add into salads. They're like an herb. To me, it's like an herb. It gives that celeriness with a tender leaf. Hey, Greg, I don't know if you're still here, Greg, but Greg, that's a great dad joke. Greg's been doing these dad jokes on Twitter, and they make me, I think it's hysterical. They make me laugh every time, Greg. And so DS just gave you some good content. He said, how do you keep a bagel from being stolen? You put locks on it. That's awesome, DS. I love it. So Greg, if you're still on, you need to put that. You need to add that. All right, so let me get this red pepper into a nice fine dice. So one of the other reasons that I actually would prefer, unless I was making a huge quantity of this, to chop this is I noticed the Pioneer Woman's, hers definitely got a tint to it. And I know there could be some tint when you're adding all these, but I definitely think when you're using a food processor, you're going to get more of that. So I like the idea of mixing this by hand because I really don't want to color my cream cheese. I want it to look like cream cheese. Does that make sense? All right, so I got my peppers, and the last thing I need to get, I do have a little garlic paste. You know I love my garlic paste. Hubs, would you mind getting a baggie for that for me, please? And I'm gonna get this lovely red onion. Now I do love the bite of a red onion, so I'm gonna get a little bit of that. I don't need much. In fact, I think I only need about half a tablespoon. So I'm just gonna take a little knob of this off. Actually, 2 would be great for my red onion too. Take off the skin. Oh, did I turn off the oven cook? Yes, I did. Okay.
Yep.
It is just hot in here. Sunny. Our windows warmed up the place. Thank you, sweetie. Do you mind putting them in? And this. Thank you. I'm putting them to work, Arch. My little favorite Sue in the kitchen, besides my KitchenAid. I think that'll be plenty, because this red onions can be a little aggressive sometimes. Now, you know, if you ever want to take some of the aggressiveness, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but if anyone's watching this that doesn't know this, if you want to take a little of the aggressiveness off of your onions, especially red onions, but really any onion, you can just soak it in some water for a little bit, and that'll help tame it a little bit. Or just pickle them, and then they're really yummy. I love pickled onions. Those are a great sandwich add, or for a wrap. I added those to the wraps, remember last week? Was it last week when I made those wraps and I had the pickled red onions in there? Ooh, this is all looking great. Look at the loveliness, and it's like a rainbow. So we're supposed to eat a rainbow, so I feel like we'll be following the directions, eating this on our bagel.
What are you talking about, eating a rainbow?
You've never heard of eat a rainbow? Oh, no. It's because you're not a teacher, but
that is true.
Because that's one thing we teach is to eat a rainbow, like to fill your plate with the colors of the rainbow, because that helps keep you healthy.
I got you.
Yeah. I think I need to send Hubs back to school.
I've had plenty.
I know you have. All right, so I've got all my yumminess. I'm going to add a little squirt of garlic. Oh, it's brand new, so I gotta get that open. Of course, you could just mince a little garlic. You could shave with your microplane a little garlic, but I love this paste when I'm feeling lazy. And considering all the chopping, I'm not gonna, just a little bit more. Yeah. I'm not gonna add too much because not garlic. My Hubs will get upset if I add too much garlic to this. So, and now I'm gonna mix this first before I add am I gonna mix it first before I add the herbs? I think I am, because I don't want to swish my herbs. So let me give it a good mix. Let me get another spatula. Oh my gosh, I cannot even tell you how good this all smells in here with those bagels. I'm sure my neighbors hate me. They probably all, because whenever any of us make anything really yummy, you know, we all smell it and then we hate each other because you can smell it and it makes you crave all these things. That's apartment living, right? Because and now I will tell you, when we were in the suburbs and one of my neighbors was grilling, then, oh, this is gorgeous. Actually, I think I vegged it up a little more than she would recommend per her, the mounts, but I'm happy with this because I feel like it makes it healthier, right?
Did you see Diaz's joke?
No, yeah, about the locks, right? Yeah.
I was probably the other.
Yes, he's late to the game.
No,
I'm teasing. No, Hubs liked the joke too. I said that I have to show you some more of because Greg's dad jokes. All right, so let's see here. Archie says, Hubs, do some effing work. Thank you, LaShandra. I do love the colors. Yes, more colors, more nutrients. Amen to that. So I'm going to add my herbs. My herbs are going to involve dill and chives, but honestly, if you're making this home, just do what you have. Put parsley in. If that's all you have, the dill we know will give it a nice flavor, and I love chives. The chives will continue that like mild onioniness. That is so yummy. Let me just dry these. And my chives are already chopped. I think I've told everyone that's on this stream about my little frozen herb hack. When like this, I'm never going to use all this dill, so I'm going to chop it up. Not today, but maybe today. Later today, I'm going to chop it up and I'm going to put it, I'm going to let it make sure it gets nice and dry. Not like dried out, but just that there's no wetness in it. And I put it in a sealable container and I freeze it. And then whenever I want fresh herbs that I don't have in my fridge, I could take them. And I'm telling you, it's a great little hack when you can't get fresh herbs right that day. So my chives are my favorite of it because they really hold up to the freezing. I give them a little shake to make sure they're all separated. I'll show you. This is from my freezer. See all my lovely little chives there? My little frozen chives. I'm just gonna take some of those and put them there. Pop them back in the freezer and I've got chives. I'm telling you, if you're not freezing and I don't do this with like the woody herbs, but your tender herbs, it is just great because fresh is best. But I can't always use all the fresh. Like sometimes I'll get like a bunch of fresh parsley. I'm not using all that. So I'll just chop it up, make sure it's dry, freeze it, shake it so that I can just take a teaspoonful or just a pinchful. Ooh, this looks good. Did I add any salt? So she did not say add salt, which is funny because in Ina's we actually added salt and there's already the salty stuff. So I'm gonna give this a taste. Let me rinse off my fork that I used. I want to make sure that because that is surprising. Taste it. Oh, I'm telling you, don't get me wrong, I love the smoked salmon one. I love the veggie one. That is so good. Way to go, Pioneer Woman. That is, look at it. It's veggie forward, and I would just load it up. I think I added a little bit more proportions considering I just had so little cream cheese. I would do that. I think it's amazing like that. I'm going to give Hubs a taste. Where did I put your fork? Oh, can you rinse off your fork? It is so good. It is, and I wouldn't add salt. I don't think you need salt. You should have celery. Oh, you don't want it, you want to just dip?
Yeah.
Okay. So I ate this end, so I'm going to dip the other end because I'm not going to double dip.
Sure.
Isn't that good?
That was really good.
It's so good. Okay.
You didn't put salt in there?
No.
Doesn't need it.
It doesn't need salt, and he salts everything. Like again, as I said, I watch my salt because I have some blood pressure issues, and I try to keep an eye on that. So this doesn't need it. It's delicious. Okay, I'm gonna put this in the fridge. I'm gonna tidy up. We're gonna cut into those bagels, and I'm gonna let you know how they are. Cooking bagels. Cooking bagels in Philly. Who would have thunk it, right? Oh my goodness. One of the things I envy is when you see people that have those really huge fridges that are like double. Although I know if I had a double fridge, I would just keep more stuff in it, and that wouldn't necessarily be a good thing. So even though I would love it, I know it's probably good I don't have it because I feel like, actually, I will tell you, from downsizing and coming to the city when we did, I feel like as humans, when we have the space, we fill it up, right? So having a smaller space has actually been better for me not hanging on to things I didn't need. Right, Hubs? Did I have a lot of stuff we had to get rid of before we moved to the city?
Comment.
You can say it, I did.
Well, you did, but you didn't get rid of all of it. It's now in a huge storage.
Oh, that's not mostly my stuff. That's not mostly my stuff.
Oh.
That's our kids' stuff.
Okay.
A lot of it is. A lot of it is our kids' stuff. And then those rugs take up a lot of space. Some of the furniture that's in there takes up a lot of space. But as far as just the stuff that I'm usually blamed for, there's not a ton of that. All right. So Hubs and I both had just a couple of Scrammies today. That's all we've eaten because we knew we wanted our lunch to be these fresh bagels. So you ready to come on over and crack into this yumminess?
Yep.
So again, for the veggie one, and both these I have the recipes below. So just you can follow them. And the veggie one though, just use whatever veggies you like. Like if there's a veggie you don't like it, then leave it out. I know not everyone does onions well, so just use less if you need to, or try onion powder. I'm so excited. This over here. All right. So I don't want to cut a digit off cutting these bagels. So I'm going.
Which one are you gonna have?
So we're both. Okay. So I'm just trying to think of my pictures. Oh, I know. I'll just use the rest for pictures. Okay. So I'm going to have, I can't have my poppy seed because I want it for pictures.
Okay.
So you're gonna have, which one did I pick? I picked poppy seed. You picked sesame seed and plain.
Yes.
I think I picked poppy seed and sesame seed.
I think you're right.
Okay. So how about we split a sesame seed to try, and then you could have the other half later, like after the stream. How about we just cut into one to try, just so I can get a pretty picture, because you know that is important.
Okay.
I mean, you're still going to get your bagel. You're going to get your bagel, but I'm just saying, like...
I feel like I'm getting...
You're not going to get chipped, I promise. So we're going to try... We're going to try the poppy seed. So here's
No, that's sesame seed.
I meant sesame seed, so sorry. I meant sesame seed. I just... So, beautiful. Great. I wish it was a little brown, not going to lie. But I was just afraid to overcook them. And I feel like the first time you're making something, you just got to kind of be careful. Like, I'm using my gut, but I also want to be careful because I just, I kind of then make judgments afterwards, like what I could do differently.
So you're going to go that way? And then...
First, I'm going to go like this. Show them that. Ooh. Looks very bagely inside. Very bagely. Do you see that? Very bagely.
You make up words.
I like my words. And I'm going to cut it this way. So we're going to think about flavor, chew, and crispiness.
Okay.
Right now, I can say that, and these have not been dipped in baking powder.
Okay.
Because baking powder was one of these everything bagels and all the plain bagels. Interesting. Not baking powder, baking soda. My apologies. So I'd get them both out. I'm going to put one on each.
Yeah, so
we're going to try both dips. Let me get I guess we'll just use that spreader, right?
Well, you're going to put that back in?
Yeah. No, I'm going to use a different thing. Let's just use these. Use these little spoons. Okay, so I'll do my veggie first, and then you can do your veggie. I'm going to do my veggie with... Those are yours.
I know. I'm going to...
Okay, I got some veggie. Oh, there you go. Sorry. And then I'm going to actually taste some before I put anything on it.
How is it?
I'm very happy with the chew. I'm very happy with the density. I wish I would have cooked it longer because I wish there was a little bit more crust. But the chew and the density I'm really happy with.
Oh, just the overall flavor is great.
Oh, the flavor is very good. So that overnight really helped to develop some flavor, which I'm happy about. But I think it's important to taste a little bit without anything to see. There you go. I'm going to try the salmon first. Good napkin. Oh,
really?
My God.
Really good. Well done.
I don't know if you saw when I was taking that bite, but I had to kind of pull away so there was the chew. And I love that there's the chew. There's nothing worse, I think, when you go to a bagel place. And it's just like the one, I think, I don't know if it was Chandra that said, it's like a roll with a hole in it. Like there's nothing chewy or bagely about it.
Diaz is right.
What did
He was earlier when you were stealing half my bagel.
Diaz is so delicious. And Greg, bagely deliciousness. And Greg, did you see the joke that Diaz did, the dad joke? You got to use that one. Oh my gosh. This is the money shot. This is delicious. Very happy.
Wow.
The only thing, because I will always be honest, is I wish it should have gotten browner. When I'm using a convection oven. So that's the only thing I wish. Okay, now for
what spread do you like better? Oh, you haven't done
I haven't done this one yet. I don't know. They're totally different.
They are. I actually think I like that one better.
I know. I'm almost leaning there, and that's no disrespect to Ina's. I love smoked salmon, and it's delicious. I highly recommend both of these spreads. They are delicious. I like that I really vegged it up.
Yeah, that's really good.
I love having all those veggies. It actually, again, makes me feel a little less guilty about having a bagel with cream cheese. A third less fat, by the way. I'm not missing any of the fat in this. The veggie is phenomenal. The smoked salmon is everything you'd expect it to be. Absolutely delicious. That lemon juice is perfect. I highly recommend this recipe. I'm anxious to try the ones that used what's it called?
Poppy seeds?
The baking soda.
Oh, baking soda.
I will on Twitter, I will let you know my thoughts on that once we have those. And I will also add it to the description below so I can let anyone watching this know what I think about the baking soda versus not baking soda. But this recipe is outstanding. It was not difficult. Again, the hardest part was really the kneading, but don't let that sway you. If you have a stand mixer that has a dough hook, that can take a lot of the work away from you. Again, I did about 5 minutes with the dough hook once it was fully mixed, and then I kneaded it by hand for 5 minutes, which was not bad. And the video will be coming this weekend. So I loved this. And, and bagels freeze well, so I would totally make these and just freeze some. And then, in fact, 2 of the ones we're going to freeze to have either as like a bagel dinner with some lunch meat and I'm going to try to do my Miami way of the steamed thing. But bagels freeze so well. So highly recommend this. This is absolutely delicious. It was not hard. You saw how easy that dough was to work with. I've never made bagels, so it's not like I'm a pro and I'm putting them together in front of you. I've never done before. I followed her recommendations of pinching and then rolling and then finding the hole. It was so easy and I'm super pleased. I'm going to gobble it up. But coming up this week, I have a wing night. Wednesday wing night is going to be sticky Thai. Super excited about it in the air fryer. So that'll be on Wednesday. It'll be a short one. It'll start at 5 and just be under an hour. So that'll be on Wednesday. I'm slowly creeping up to the 500 subs. And once I do that, again, I'm going to schedule a 5-hour stream and just do all sorts of fun things during that time. And I'm sure fall flat on my face exhausted at the end of it, but looking forward to that. So please like and subscribe. Please share with others. Oh my gosh, try this. And if you try this, let me know what you think. And if you have some great tips for making bagels, please put that down below so we can all share the goodness about making bagels. These were outstanding. I highly recommend them. And let me make sure I don't miss anyone. Archie, Solomon, LaShondra, DS, Matthew, Greg, Christine, I almost forgot Christine. I just so appreciate you coming on stream and saying hello. And anyone that is watching from afar but that didn't want to come and chat, thank you also. Thank you for your support. Thank you for continuing to come on these streams. It's so fun chatting with you. I absolutely love getting to talk and share and laugh. So you all have a great rest of your weekend. Try this recipe. And Archie, I'm sorry they're not pretzels, but bagels are close. Bagels are close. So everyone have a great weekend. Thank you so much. And until next time, until we eat again.